We have just got to the end of the first day of questioning of the undercover police officer Carlo Soracchi, who used the cover name Carlo Neri to infiltrate the Socialist Party, No Platform, the Away Team, a plethora of anti-fascist groups. I'm normally going to go through, but look, I just want to say, Carlo Soracchi is fucked. At the end of his questioning, he made a series of outright lies, contradicting himself repeatedly, fudging the issue, saying one thing, then contradicting it. David Barr, I think, was the most contemptuous I've ever seen towards a witness ever. Then John Mitting intervened and asked some questions, and he lied even more. He looked even more contemptuous. John McDonald O'Driscoll of the Undercover Research Group, what the fuck did you make of that car crash?
I have never seen a hole dug so deep so fast.
So fast.
With such skill of continuing to dig the hole and have no sort of understanding about what he's actually doing. He thinks he's got his stories lined up, the ducks are all in a row, and they're just being picked off.
I mean,
Barr looked almost angry.
He did.
He was just like, "You're insulting me."
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so this was in relation to the romantic trip that Carlo Soracchi took in 2001. He had been fairly uncomfortable, I would say, for about 45 minutes before we got to that topic, as he'd been questioned in detail about the deceptive sexual relationship he'd had with Lindsay, one which he was squirming, I would say, about a fair bit.
Yeah, and on that, he was like, he was brought up that the manager at the time, Dell, had come in and said, "You're not meant to have sex relations. If you're having them, stop them now." And he couldn't remember this, and there's a lot of couldn't remember. And I just wonder, anybody who's following the evidence or going back and look at the video, look how many times he says "sir" every time he's lying. And it's just like he's got this tech. I mean, he's constantly like, "I can't remember, sir." Big moments like all the other officers can come in. Yeah, he came in and his office man just came in and said, "No more sex." I can't really remember. And the same line that a lot of the Boiling others are using is like, if you say so, I'm not going to disagree. It's just like, I'm not going to give you a proper answer. I'm not going to say I just don't remember. And it's like, he doesn't come across as a high quality special branch officer, highly trained to remember and pick up on every sort of detail.
No, not at all. I mean, just to say, his comments about his answers to the questions about the deceptive sexual relationship with Lindsay, which are the standard ones we've come to be used to. Would she have ever considered having sex with you if she knew that you were an undercover police officer? His answers were appalling. He said, "Oh, I can't say for sure."
You'd have to ask her that.
Yeah, it was really. He said that. He kept referring to it as an affair, and giving the suggestion that the problem with it was the fact that it was a married man, and that that somehow he was cheating on his wife, and that was the big concern. He didn't.
He was sorry, but not really heartfelt. I kept saying, "Yeah, I'm sorry." Yeah, there was one very good line where he admitted that he was a nasty person.
Yes.
He eventually actually had to accept that he wasn't a good guy in the room.
Yeah, no, very much. He kept referring to her as a nice person, that it was convenient, that it supported his cover, that he felt back to he had no other choice. He had no choice. He said at one point he was struggling, to which Barr delivered the immortal line, "Struggling to keep your trousers on," which I thought was very good. Well done, Barr.
But it's like those of us who've got to know Lindsay through all of this. It's like, yes, Lindsay is a genuinely nice person.
Lovely.
Donna, all the women who have been deceived, and it's just like, yes, and you're a bastard.
Yeah.
This is a clear response, mate. You knew what you were doing was wrong. You're trying to, portray her as this and that. Which sometimes she's an activist when it suits her, when not an activist. It's like, oh man, just read the room. You're not a nice person.
Literally. His the mental gymnastics he was attempting to go through around, would she have considered having sex with you? Well, this whole thing about he's like, when he said, "Oh, you lavished her with gifts." Well, I buy lots of people gifts. It's like, all right, but even just talking to her the first time, he was like, "And you spoke to Lindsay that night?" And he's like, "I spoke to lots of people." And it's like, yeah, but one of them you ended up having a sexual relationship with.
And this is a clear tactic. I'm just going to blow smoke. I'm going to do the octopus trick. Every time there's a dangerous question comes anywhere near, I'm going to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. It's like, and it's one of his two tactics. He gives away. It's like, oh, this territory, I'm already uncomfortable. I know I'm going to get thing. I'm just going to blow smoke. I'm going to obfuscate. It's like, it's quite exhausting to listen to, but you can also tell that like you don't want to answer this question.
Yeah, I mean, very much. I mean, like his when it came to the questions around the trip to Venice and his claim that in fact he was traveling with a group of activists to Venice in order to meet some other activists who are part of the Committee for Workers International. He kept saying, "Oh yeah, well, I spoke fluent Italian, so I was trusted to be the representative." I mean, he said that 7 or 8 times.
I'm not a Trotskyist. I think this is the
surprise, surprise.
But what I know of the Trotskyists and the people I know, they would not have sent somebody as low ranking as him to meet somebody from the International.
Yeah.
Like even I, as an outsider to those groups, know enough to know that. They would not do that. Not sending you by yourself. It's like they must be rolling around the corridors at the moment, laughing at just that nonsense.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, but you don't understand the way it is." It's like, we do. You lived it.
Yeah. I mean, he really like his whole thing about like, oh, I think I went over there. I went to Italy many times, and like Bar was like, yes, but we're asking about the trip to Venice between the 17th and the 19th of December 2001. On this particular trip, did you meet anyone? Yes, I think it did. Well, no, maybe we didn't. I don't. And he just jumped around.
Venice, that very well-known hotspot of Trotskyist organization.
Yeah.
That's actually too expensive for your average person to live in. It's like he just happened to go to Venice. It was like, of all the cities you could have picked in Italy, why did you pick Venice? Who was there? Why was the most expensive city probably in Venice to go to? He said, why did you suddenly end up there without a real plan? Why not go to Rome or Milan
or anywhere? I mean, the point is that I mean, like, he hasn't really formulated a particular story as such. He's just gone, I think there was someone I can't really remember. I was always doing something political. Every time I went to Italy many times.
So just taking a step back on that was like these are officers who have gone through the legend building process and they've had it tested and they think just because they wrote up a legend, that they can just do it again. I'll just create a cover story. This is what he's doing, a cover story with the legends to get tested by their managers. And he doesn't realize that bit is like you have to test your cover story. You have to stress test it because that's what Bar is going to come in and he's going to take a big stick to your story. If it doesn't stand up, you're going to look. So this is their trycraft on show failing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody. I mean, I'd like if you do have the opportunity, please, I would recommend watching that last. Yeah. I mean, it's about the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. Yeah. I mean, it really is. An example of just what utter bullshit. I mean, really. I mean, he absolutely failed miserably.
And like Bar was not letting go. And it's like it was so clear that you had a nice romantic weekend out in Venice, things like, and he brings up things like the receipts and stuff like
he literally kept receipts.
Well, no, this was the thing from the police, but what they didn't say, we don't have the actual receipts of the airfare for operational reasons. We didn't go to operational reasons. There was 2 people, one of them was Lindsay. Yeah. But also, I don't know if people picked up on the receipts that he was also getting a daily allowance for being in Venice.
Yes.
He wasn't just, I'm going to have a holiday under my cover name. I'm going to get paid every step of the way, even just for being there. And as Lindsay, but it was like they ran back to it was really cold, and they went back to the hotel multiple times to have sex. It's like, and you got paid for this?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think anybody can watch that evidence without being absolutely convinced that this was nothing more than a romantic getaway for him to have a very nice time with the woman he was deceiving, to have a very fun weekend, have the best time he could possibly have with this woman who was really into him, with an expense account to go with it.
He couldn't even bring to say that he was on the plane with her. She gave really powerful evidence to say she remembered it because she was being really affectionate in public on the plane, which wasn't usual for her. So it was an important moment. It's like, maybe. Well, it's like. He just took. This is where sexism comes through. He just downplays the importance of all this. He can't accept, and he does not actually be giving quite a strong impression. Of somebody he's really in love with. It's like, you lying 2-faced bastard. Yeah. Lindsay is a lovely person, and you totally totally acted like a bastard towards her.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't even, like, we said to him, you went to Venice with her, and he's like, yes, and he's like, and you showed her around Venice. You went, well, I don't really know Venice, as if that was I mean, that was his, like, he couldn't even, like, accept some really basic stuff. It was like Prince Andrew and sweating. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh no, that couldn't have been me, because I don't really know Venice that well, so I couldn't have shown her around. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was just and Bar just kept going, and at no point did he have the brains to realize he wasn't winning. His story had lost credibility, and all he was doing was just digger. And then Barr comes in with his cover officer, Stephen Beals, the detective sergeant. So it's not just Carlo going out here. He's brought his cover officer out, who's in the neighboring city, not even Venice, in the neighboring city, also clearly having his own little
fair Verona,
jolly, two gentlemen from Verona.
Quite.
And so it's not just it's expensive. Both these officers doing this trip.
It's signed off by both Michael Dell, who is this new detective,
the one who said not to have sexual relationships,
right? Yeah, with his new rules, he signs it off. Roger Pierce has signed it off, and it's put to him: would these men sign off on you having a nice romantic trip with your weary girlfriend? And he's like, you'll have to ask them.
Yeah, and Bar went one further. So basically, are you saying that Beals is lying?
Literally,
just didn't quite say those words, but that was the words.
I mean, he did bring up a section from Carlo Soracchi's written statement where he, gave this bullshit story, and he says those two lines are an outright lie.
So one of the things he keeps all the evidence, even in his witness statement and in the contemporary documents. I was going with activists plural, to make contacts
with activists plural again,
and so both contemporary and his witness statement, like even this meeting was asking about, it's like, who are and he was rolling back, and this is where he suddenly becomes, I'm trusted. I'm a senior member of the Socialist Party. By
he's been a member for a year at this point, I think.
Yeah, a year. That's a good point. He was actually only there for a year as well.
I mean, it's very early on in his deployment. I mean, it really doesn't add up.
But you got to remember, it's like it was all about maintaining my cover, but building my legend.
Yeah,
it's just like,
come on, really, I mean, it's not that. I mean, it is fairly unusual for Mitting to intervene to ask any questions himself in the first place. But I don't know of him ever intervening to do a follow-up question to what Barr has just asked.
Yeah, I think he's done it once or twice. Yeah, but you're still right. It's rare.
Yeah, and it tends to be about something from much earlier or some like other aspect of it.
This was right at the end of the day, but you could see that Mitting is quite focused on Verona. He can see the implications
of Venice.
Of Venice, sorry. Yeah, everybody can see the implications of this, and he's like, you are going to answer these questions. You are not going to, he's playing. Carlo thinks he's the slippery eel. He's looking and diving, and it's like, for all the issues with Mitting is also a very experienced, long-time court judge of God knows how many years. He's not going to have to pull over his eyes that quickly and easily. And he came in and went, "Sorry."
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to make a prediction. I think that tomorrow morning when we come back, that Carlo Soracchi is going to want to make some sort of statement at the very beginning where he lays out something about this trip. I don't know what he's going to come up with, but I do not believe that he's going to try and front out what he's just done, because it just undermines all of his evidence completely, because he just has very blatantly lied. I mean, like, once you see the transcript of the way that he's contradicted the things he said so many times within a breath of each other, I mean, I think it just undermines his entire appearance.
I'm going to take the other bet.
Okay, go on.
I think it's 50-50. I really think it's 50-50 on this. I think he actually doesn't have that intelligence. Like, he's written himself a narrative in his head about how it's going to be, and this is how he's going to bat away the questions, and he's taken a massive battering. I think so. I think he's like with some of the other undercovers; they are actually daft enough to try. Once they're heading down that route, it's very, very hard for them to stop.
Fair.
So it could go either way.
I mean, I just imagine him being like, I mean, right now he's in one of the rooms just around the corner from us with whoever's coaching him, because I mean, like they all appear very much coached in their appearances, going, fucking hell, Carlo, you fucked that up. What you need, like, look, right, what we're going to do is we're going to work out a much more sensible way of doing this story, you know, and like, we'll have to come up with some cock and bull bullshit about, you know, your mental health state or something. I mean, I don't know, but it really, I mean, he just did so badly.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like, we know his marriage is intact at that stage. He can't rely on that. He's going to struggle to come back on this. And his problem now, because he's got, if he thinks that was bad, what's going to come with the rent book is going to be.
There's so much to come.
But he's already massively damaged his credibility with Mitting. He's not going to be able to come back. It's like, you want to save that sort of something out for when you really need it. It's just like you already admitted you're in a relationship with Lindsay. Just accept the loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think really people like, you know, he needed to take a leaf out of Bob Lambert's book. It's not worth it. You know, you've already save it for the big crimes. You know what I mean? You like lie about the big crimes and accept the little ones. You know,
the ones that don't have receipts.
yeah, literally. I mean, like receipts. I mean, for God's sake, man, absolute lunatic. We've had some comments. There's one here from Vic Dawson. Dave Barr's face throughout this afternoon has been great. He clearly has no truck with Carlo Soracchi's attempts to obfuscate. No, he really doesn't. I mean, I think Barr was on form this afternoon very much. So some of the others, somebody from the police campaign opposing police surveillance, Venice, that legendary hotspot of Trotskyism. Yes, I mean, I think I will forever think of Venice now as a hotspot of Trotskyism, and maybe the seat of the Committee for Workers International. And then another one here from somebody from the campaign opposing police surveillance. The other time Mitting did that end questioning was James Thompson on the gun plot. Yes. Asking if there was anything he could give to make it vaguely believable. Mitting seeing if they really are going to stick to the lie, and both of them went, "Yep." To him, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Something point out was like, you could see that Carlo realized that, and this is where you may may win the bet. Is that Carlo realized that, you know, he couldn't see the light from at the top of the hole.
Right? Yeah.
And he was struggling to go. I've not pulled the wool over their eyes. I think all the way through he thought he was doing that.
Yeah.
No, actually realizing maybe it was only at the end.
I mean, just talking generally about his evidence all day. I mean, something that's come up from a lot of the people that I've been chatting to in the breaks is that he's presenting himself as a little bit of a simpleton. That's part of his sort of thing. It was like, oh, I don't know, sir. Oh, more, you know, that's been part of his sort of shtick, and it's really come apart, I think, in the last hour or so.
Yeah, but also it's like, I'm just wondering how much he is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, some of them come across as quite devious. You know, you say, I can understand how you did your job because you actually have the mind where you're ducking and diving. And others
conniving bastard.
I'm just going to be nice to everybody and like you know, be the wallflower. And then you know, he can't even pull off his attempt at being an agent provocateur well. You know, the whole firebombing. It's like, you know, one of the things that struck me just listening to other people's evidence was just how cack-handed it was. I mean,
that was actually an interesting. Saying this thing about like being nice to everyone. I mean, when it was brought up about the love bombing essentially that he did to Lindsay, telling her he loved her very early on and all this sort of stuff.
Couldn't even admit that he had actually.
Couldn't remember that. He said he clearly couldn't recall it, but he said, "Oh, that's what he's like." You know, he said, "Oh, that's what I'm like," and it's like that's my nature. I think was what he said. And this idea that, you know, yeah, he definitely came across the sort of person who was just like, just tell people, you know, the most over the like whatever they want to hear. You know.
Yeah. But also, this is a guy who was going on about how he didn't have a relationship. He needed, you know, there's lots of things, you know, in these questions, you know, he didn't feel support. He had to have a relationship because he wasn't being supported by the office.
Yeah,
you know, he was getting hit upon. Yeah, he was saying, trying to say about men. You know, it was a cringeworthy moment.
It really was. I mean, really just.
But you know, he's constantly playing bad office. But I know from having spoken to people who knew him well, he was going around asking for a relationship. He wasn't just like, oh, I had to do it. He was moaning to his comrades that he was a single man. Like he went in there straight.
And you can imagine it. Just like that puppy dog eyes guy. Do you know what I mean? You can imagine it, can you?
Yeah. So I don't think he's massively, you know, deviant thing, but he is just one track mind. You know, this is who I am, and he does not care about women in his life. He just wants to get laid.
Oh my God,
really what comes across.
It really comes across. I mean, he like just the way that he talked about the fact that I mean, we've got a cipher for his wife, KTS.
Katie with his first wife.
Yes, yeah, for his first wife. Sorry, yeah, for his first wife. And like that cipher, you know, I mean, he had the opportunity to like kind of. But he was very. He didn't really mention anything about her. Do you know what I mean? About the fact that he was, betrayed her was like kind of came up at one point, but there was no sort of sense of like, I'd done something terrible. He talked about how she didn't trust him, and didn't think that he would be able to avoid having sex whilst deployed undercover, and that she thought that the SDS was all boys together. But like the misogyny came through very strongly, I felt.
Yeah, and also you got to wonder then, what did his recruiters see in him?
Yeah,
because they're frankly not really seeing it unless they saw like Christianity just one of the lads.
Yeah,
and really what it comes across, he is one of the lads, and the way others have talked about his interaction is it's all about he's playing that, but deep down he doesn't really care.
No, not at all. So at the end, meeting says you've got at least 2 full days of questioning left. Is there anything that we should be looking forward to, do you think?
Well, there is the one and only rent book.
There is the one and only rent book. Yeah, that's going to be great.
And let's not forget the one and only fascist charity shop.
The
firebombing. The proposing to Donna.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be quite a big one.
I mean, the whole relationship with Donna in general.
Yeah,
and the family. So just another comment from fellow of this parish, Jack Shepherd, which is Chris Bryan, who's using a cover name, which we obviously untrustworthy. He's putting his weight behind my bet that he also thinks there may be a statement of clarification on Venice tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the smart money, but
Okay. Let us know in your comments.
Let's know in the comments. Yeah. We're running a book. Are you Team Donal or Team Tom? Come on. Which one are you going for? Is there going to be a statement of clarification? Yeah. It's been quite a day.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
And not helped by the sheer amount of suspensions.
Oh my God.
In the morning.
Yeah.
It was just like, people can't afford. You want to follow this. They can't get that every day. It was just the frustrations. Like, oh God's sake, this is some of the most important evidence.
Yes. Yeah. It is. I mean, there were a couple of challenges which clearly are coming from the police for breaches, which turned out not to be a breach. I think it was just one, or was it 2 in the end?
It was more than that.
I mean, the turned out not to be.
I think said
wasn't a breach. Which it really felt like. it was the pit that it covered. Really felt like it was something that they were trying to bury. That there was like, he's made a breach there. We can cover over that stuff, but there's so many details I'm sure we haven't covered in the reaction videos today. We will be back again tomorrow. There's another full day. I'll be doing another full day of video reactions throughout the day. If you've got any comments, please add them. Please share these videos. Please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. It makes a huge difference to how visible these things are. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, tune in tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining us. Find out who wins the bet. Is it me or Donal? This is the big suspense. We'll see you in the morning. Bye for now.